Lando Norris has learned from the mistakes of last year, and we also have some updates on Ferrari, who were quite disappointing in the first GP of the season. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pole Position News. Speaking of Ferrari, they were definitely one of the biggest letdowns of the race, perhaps the biggest. After the race, Leclerc mentioned that the car was unbalanced and lacked performance. They have a lot of work to do. Hamilton also complained about the car, saying it was a much tougher weekend than he anticipated, especially in handling the car in the rain. He was getting a feel for how Ferrari's suspension worked, how their engine operated, and so on. So, both drivers were unhappy. Additionally, Ferrari took a gamble with their strategy, which didn't pay off. It was a strategy that failed, and I'd even reduce the significance of that bit because, honestly, it was a bit of a gamble. You could take the risk or play it safe, even though the forecast predicted stronger rain. Ferrari took the risk, and it didn't work out, leaving them far behind. Right now, they're behind Sauber in the standings, which is quite surprising. But without a doubt, Ferrari was the biggest disappointment of the weekend. Now, moving on to Lando Norris, who shared some insightful thoughts after the race. Norris said that both he and McLaren learned from last year's mistakes, particularly during critical moments, which is why they were able to secure the victory in the first race of 2025. I agree with Lando. If it had been last year's Norris, when Verstappen was pressuring him, whether at the start or near the end, he would have likely given in under the pressure. But this time he didn't crack. He kept his focus, maintained a solid pace, sometimes faster, sometimes not. But most importantly, he didn't make any mistakes that would hand the win to Verstappen. That's a huge positive, and it shows his growth and maturity. Lando has enormous potential, but he just needs to hone it to reach an elite level, like Verstappen, for example. This is true for him, for Russell, and for Leclerc. When the pressure is on, these drivers need to keep refining their skills. If Lando Norris begins this process in 2025, he could become a serious contender for the title. McLaren appears to be ahead, and this season, teams won't focus as much on development after the start of the year. They'll work on it early and then move away from it. So, a strong start to the season could be key for Norris to clinch the 2025 title and kickstart his maturation process. This is what will help him emerge as one of the top drivers and reach a remarkable level on the grid. He clearly has potential for it, and the race he put together today was impressive. No major mistakes, just a small slip-up, which is typical on a wet track, and didn't affect his overall performance. That's important. As I've said before, when a driver reaches a high level, even their mistakes have a smaller impact on the race. We saw that from Lando Norris today. Will it be the same for the rest of the season? We'll have to wait and see. But in the first race, he managed to hold off Verstappen, who was pushing hard, and secure the win through a mix of dry and wet conditions with plenty of drama on track. That's a really positive sign for Norris, and I hope he continues on this upward trajectory to become a more well-rounded driver. He's 25, so it's still the phase of growth, but it was a fantastic race from him. I agree with him that learning from mistakes is crucial, and today they applied those lessons. McLaren walks away with strong points, and Mercedes is now tied with McLaren in the constructors' standings, partly thanks to Piastri's performance. Strong points of McLaren, and Norris right from the start. I'd love to know your thoughts on all of this. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, and subscribe for more news about the 2025 season. See you in the next video.